Nothing should stop our people from thriving in this country. I have a little slogan. It's time to thrive in 25.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Pushing Your Peace podcast, the number one podcast in the region for living a progressive and happier life. On this brand new episode, I am joined by Honorable Temard Butterfield, a dynamic leader with a passion for faith, integrity, and youth empowerment. Honorable Temard dives into his journey into politics, sharing how prayer and patience have guided him through his challenges. We explore his vision for education reform, the critical role of youth engagement in shaping the future, and the power of leadership rooted in service. Sit back, relax, and let's get ready to push some peace. Honorable Butterfield, it's a pleasure to have you on Pushing Your Peace. Welcome to the show. And as you guys are well aware, Honorable Butterfield is an at-large candidate in the up-and-coming elections. But this is not his first go-around in politics. So I want to give the Honorable an opportunity to tell us, how did you become interested in politics? Like, what inspires you to get and step into this arena?
From a young age, I've been interested in three things: politics, pastoring, or being a teacher. And for some reason, the Lord and destiny has allowed my life to be aligned alongside these three passions of mine. In terms of my interest in representation, it started at the University of Technology, Jamaica, where I served as the Students' Union President for 15,000 students. I've served in two consecutive years as president and being able to represent the issues and concerns of the students of that institution. It brought me joy to understand and to see what their concerns are, and able to articulate that, share their passion, share their hearts with administration, serving on various boards, academic boards, quality assuring boards, national boards in Jamaica, tertiary institutional boards, representing both institutions, UE and UTEC. It all started there. And that's where I began having that urge for service, not to myself, but to people. Of course, I am a Rotarian, and also representing their concerns, and making sure that we find solutions that will benefit them and to give them that peace that they need when it comes to representation.
Honorable, you mentioned two P's, and I have to talk about this because it's become very controversial, and I would like for you to talk about this, pastoring and politics. There's a lot of controversy that, pastors shouldn't get in politics. What do you say to that conversation? What do you add to that conversation?
It is not new. It is not new to the political arena that pastors are entering it or making themselves available for this type of representation. And if you look at the Bible, all the kings and all the leaders in the Bible, they were politicians, but they were chosen by God. And I wholeheartedly believe that once you have a service, once you have a heart of a servant and you're ready to serve, you are qualified enough to serve in any capacity. We try to make politics to be a dirty thing, but it's what we make it. And if you are a man of integrity, if you're a man of high standing, if you're a man that doesn't bow and bend to norms or situations that will cause you to question your standards in God. I mean, number one, we are a Christian nation. So we shouldn't want believers in God. We shouldn't want persons who have a heart after God to run in politics and to lead this country. We use the scripture, when the righteous rule, the people are happy. And I believe that we need leaders who will hold policymakers ourselves accountable when we are making decisions to further our country. So I have no issue. I've served as an appointed member in the House of Assembly, and I haven't compromised my standards as a representative, as an independent, I would call it, representative in the House of Assembly. So therefore, I see no issue where pastors, once you're not neglecting the things of the Lord. Let me say that there.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, you mentioned the appointed member, serving as an appointed member. And we recently made constitution amendments to get rid of that. and now you cannot be an appointed member anymore. Tell me, how did you benefit from it? And also, I want you to tell me how you feel about the amendments that were made to the Constitution.
Good question. To be honest with you, when I was chosen to, as a young man, I'm chosen to represent the governor as a governor's appointed member to the House of Assembly. I found it to be an honor. I had to make that decision whether or not I'm going to give up school at a critical juncture, and then take up this role, which they allowed me to continue to teach and also carry out my tasks as the governor's appointed member. But being able to sit in the House of Assembly as a representative, because as the governor's appointed member, you had all the rights as a member of parliament, voting rights, contributions, sitting on various committees. It exposed me to the various policies and the way that government operates. One of my favorite committees that I've sat on for 4 years was the Appropriations Committee, examining the revenues and expenditure for TCIG, and being able to ask questions that you will hear that our citizens would want to know the answers to, that you would not normally get from a politician, you will never normally get from a policy maker, or you wouldn't get from a civil servant. We, if you are serving in the House of Assembly, you should represent the interests and concerns of the people. And having that opportunity to represent the youth and also support legislation that will promote economic success, it opened my eye to a lot of opportunities that, you know, the thrill that we have, that you may have in the next 5 years, that because I hope that you'll be a member of parliament soon too, representing the concerns of your people. It is a thrill that you have that honor that you can make laws, and you can sign off on laws that will benefit not just the semi majority but the majority of the entire Turks and Caicos Islands.
The second half of the question now. How do you feel about the amendments to the Constitution recently that pretty much abolished that now? There's no more
You know,
opportunities for
You
that
know,
anymore.
I totally have no issue with it. I've sat at various town hall meetings when it was discussed. So I have no issues, and I support the amendment because our it is our house, and regardless of whether or not the governor has a say, or he doesn't, or he tries or she tries to give off the opinion that they don't influence decisions that are made by the governor's appointed member, we want to ensure that we have representatives of our people and only our people, because it's our house. So I support it wholeheartedly. I look forward to seeing the 19 elected members to the House of Assembly and other territories. I don't think in the BVI they allow governors to appoint members, so why should we allow the Turks and Caicos? But I did enjoy the experience.
Amazing. Now you talk about, being an appointed member and how it opened your eyes up. What was one of the biggest misconceptions that you confronted as an appointed member when it uh, came to serving in the House?
Whew. To be honest with you, I had a fairly good term as an appointed member. I don't think we had a lot of controversial issues to debate. They were mostly straightforward in terms of benefiting the livelihood of the entire Turks and Caicos. But one of the misconceptions that shocked me at the beginning of entering into this arena is that while the politicians are arguing on in parliament, and our people, the PDMs and the PMPs, are fighting and making noise and hating each other, the politicians are living as one. They're enjoying each other. I couldn't understand. You just finished routing me out. You just finished, and then we come sit down and in the back room and eat dinner together. No, it don't work like that now. Our generation, But I thought that was a misconception in terms of how we live as politicians, as leaders of this country. The respect is mutual across each aisle. Yes, they have difference in opinions, but everyone has been respectful in their disposition towards each other. I think for me that was a shocker. But quite frankly, I had a good year, a good 4 years. It wasn't nothing controversial that will shock me to its highest level. But you must know what you're speaking about, and you must know what the politicians are speaking about, because they will sell you. Sometimes they can sell you something that, I remember a politician was speaking about something, and my grandmother called me and she said, Timad, you better support it. You better support this. And I had to do my research. And when I did my research, I realized that, some information wasn't quite accurate as it should be, or as it was portrayed to be. So you have to be very cognizant. You have to be cognizant of the environment and what is being said and what is being used as a political, not gimmick, but political advancement for a person who is speaking.
Now, Honorable Butterfield, you became an appointed member. That term came to an end. Now elections comes around, and you decided to put your hand in the ring.
Again,
Oh, so that was your second time running?
this is my second time.
No, I
Number-
mean the first time after the appointed member thing, right?
After the appointed member, I ran as the representative for Grand Turk North.
That's what I'm
And the-
talking about now. That was your first time.
Yes.
Yes. So I want to talk about that now. You were unsuccessful.
Yes.
What did that teach you? That whole process now, from being an appointed member to now putting yourself, because I see all the politicians are taking the same route. What did that teach you? From being an appointed member to now contesting a seat to losing. What was one of the biggest? What was your life lesson coming out of that?
No one have never asked me that question. A lot of persons, they just run into things just by other people's experiences. But for me, I campaigned. For me, I worked. For me, I knocked on every single door. I shared my plans. I shared my vision. I shared my party's vision. I shared my uh, life of service with people whom I thought knew me. But the shocker for me, even though my numbers showed me that I was going to win, there are two things. Number one, all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are called. So you have to trust the process. So even in losing, even though it's not a good feeling, because I promise you it was not a good feeling for about 25 minutes, I went to sleep. When I wake up and I realized that it was 14-1, I was like, oh, the whole ship sink. So I could hold my head up a little bit, but I began to examine where I went wrong, and I realized that I didn't do anything wrong. People will be people. People will choose who they want to represent them, and you just have to accept that. You know, I can come to you right now, Mr. Lightburn, and say that I need your support, and you can tell me wholeheartedly that you're going to support me. But numbers don't lie. When you go to the poll, you can do whatever you want because it's only between you and God. And then at the end of the day, when the numbers are tallied, and this time it's going to be 20 minutes, you will see the results. So you just have to accept it. And it shouldn't discourage you if you are really true in terms of really wanting to represent the people. Maybe I was in the wrong area, maybe I was in the wrong district. I did a review of that, but I do realize that my passion lies not only for the island of Grand Turk, but Turks and Caicos Islands in a whole.
So honorable, you go through that. And this election, you say, you know what, I'm going at large. How did you get to that decision?
I've actually applied for two. Last time I applied for two positions, at large and Grand Turk North. And I based Grand Turk North based on supporters and individuals who shared with me that they want me to represent be the representative for the People's Democratic Movement. And based on data, I figured that it would be, a good chance. No one is going to do something that they know they're going to lose, and the numbers are not really a big margin in terms of over the successful years. Sorry, and you will find that persons are saying that okay, it's a stronghold. Stronghold, I call a stronghold something that's over 20, 200, 300, 100 and something, even that. But if you have a margin of 20 or 25, and I mean, that's not a stronghold. You understand? Yes, you may have won the seat every election year. But me choosing to go at large, it spans from my impact through education, my impact through the church, and my impact as a Rotarian. We have served. I've served this country. I've served this country in many capacities, and I believe that my representation is far reached. Even as a civil servant representative, I was the vice president for the Civil Service Association. So, and in that alone, I had to have the support of the entire civil service. And I think my votes were about what 700 and something just within the civil service of all those who actually voted, and it wasn't even 1,000 persons voted. So based on data, based on family generics, based on friends, family, and also my career path at large.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Honorable. Now, you're a pastor, educator, you have experience being in the house. What are your plans for this country for the next 5 years?
Well, my plans are always surrounding what my party supports. First of all, we have a vision for this country. We have a vision for its people, and my personal plans align with the vision for the People's Democratic Movement. And our slogan is not just a slogan, but it's actually something that we are pushing from our hearts. Your future is our priority. We cannot just think about right now. And we have issues that are affecting Turks and Caicos that need short-term fixes. But we want to ensure that our children, our children's children, that the generations to come, that they are protected, that they have something to enjoy, that even though we are the minority in this country, that we are ensuring that Turks and Caicos Islanders are first, attacking the issues that are permanently affecting our people, the Turks and Caicos Islanders. Cost of living is at an all-time high. You know, every day you go into the supermarket, every day you go into the stores, every day you look on social media, you have persons, young professionals, young people, adults alike, are complaining about how expensive it is to live in Turks and Caicos. And believe it or not, it is. And I shared a story couple of days ago that I was in the supermarket, and I have a business. I'm a business owner, Wings and Things, the best wings in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Um, I had to put in a little free advertisement there. But I usually I usually purchase celery, and as a kind of as a part of my product. So while I'm purchasing it, I usually buy it for about $1.25, $2 the most. So this day I went into this particular store that usually sells celery for $4. I'm not going to buy that. So in Grand Church, what we have to do, we have to go to every store to find various produce and to find the best prices. So while I was in the store, I realized that they had sale on celery. And I made a statement, and I didn't know someone was listening to me. I said, wow, oh, celery is now down to $1.50. I can buy about five of these. I'm buying them for $4. And this lady said to me, Honorable Butterfield, you are a representative. You are running in these elections. Whenever you are elected and selected, I hope that you will remember the same statement to show you that what we are experiencing right now, we want you and your party to address it and to fix it so that we can get better representation and that we can enjoy, we can live, not only live, but thrive in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Crime and violence, it is something that is causing or crippling our economy, believe it or not. Members and family members are living in fear. You can't leave your door open anymore. And that's a fact. You can't leave your windows. You probably can't even sleep with your windows open anymore. And that stems from not only in Providenciales, but in every island of the Turks and Caicos, either through illegal immigration or even crime and violence on a whole. We are living in fear. That's the Bible said the Lord has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. But, we want our communities to be safe. I don't want to have to worry that, okay, someone took my entire window out like they did a couple of months ago and broke into my home, and can't get it solved. I have to put lights and cameras and alarms around my building. We shouldn't be living like that in Turks and Caicos. And then you will find the excuse that, okay, well, with the country advancing and the economy growing, crime will also, it don't have to be like that. It don't have to be that way, and we have to change that narrative. So my party's position is looking at every element that is, number one, affecting Turks and Caicos Islanders and propelling them to not only be successful, but we want them to thrive in the TCI.
Honorable, thank you for sharing that with with us. Young Temard Butterfield, 16 years old, fresh, sorry, fresh out of high school. Given everything that you've learned, your experiences, where you want to see this country go, what advice are you telling him, young 16-year-old Temard Butterfield?
Whatever opportunities are placed before you, or whenever opportunities are placed before you, it is imperative that you try your best and maximize on every opportunity. The world is changing. There are going to be opportunities for you to grow in every area of your life. But number one, you need to have a dream. You need to have a vision, and you need to go after that. And don't allow anything or anybody nor systems to stop you from walking through doors that are open and even doors that are closed. You have the power to open every single door. Why? Because number one, this is your country. You're a Turks and Caicos Islander. So it is imperative. Number one, it is not that you're being as you would say, for lack of words, territorial, but it is our right. You have a right to live and thrive in this country. So, to a young Timad, I would say go after your dreams. Don't allow anything to stop you, whether it be educational careers, whether it be entrepreneurial opportunities, whether it be having a family, whatever it is that you see yourself to do, that you can do it, and do it with all your might. Why? Because Turks and Caicos Islanders, and it's our job as policymakers and politicians to provide you with opportunities to thrive and to grow. So whenever these opportunities are presented, seize the opportunity.
Thank you for sharing that, Honorable. Now, time to put you on the hot seat a little bit. I think there's too much heat. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the lead of your party not going at large, and I want you to share your side of that argument with us tonight. How you feel about that? Should the leader run at large, or it doesn't matter? The floor is yours.
For me, good question. I think this question was posed to me on another or talk show, and I was like, I think this is the first. I'm the first person to address this issue or this major concern that everybody has. You know, I'm hearing the talks everywhere. But let me say this first of all, policy wise. If we have an issue where we want to determine where our leaders come from or where they should run, we have the choice to change it through policy. This is not the first time. This is not the second time. And probably this is not the third time. You understand? But if you look at other territory jurisdictions within the Caribbean that has the same system, it is actually the same thing. And being that Honorable Aswit is the representative, the successful representative for Grand Turk South, District Number 2, and saying that he was the only individual who was successful in the previous elections, I believe that he has that opportunity to choose whether or not he wants to take the route of district or island. While persons may see it as an opportunity to be safe, um, I believe there's nothing wrong, because if there's anything wrong, we would have changed it within the policy. Now, yes, I would love to see leaders debate on a national platform, both district or both at large. But the reality of it is, this is what we have.
if you didn't push your peers. So you now have the floor. It can be one word, two words, however many words, any words that has been transformational to your journey. You now have the floor to push your peers.
P words. Prayer. Prayer is essential. I've developed a relationship with God where I understand that if you call on Him, He will answer you, as Jeremiah 33 verse 3 says. And what I love about that scripture is as not only He will answer you, but He will show you great and mighty things which you know not of. So it tells me that the things, the wisdom that I need through the questions that I'm praying about or petitioning before God, that He's about to not only answer it, but He's going to give me guidance and directions. So I need it. I believe, and I've seen it so far in my life, that through prayer, and I'm not talking about, oh, I'm going to pray. I'm talking about really communicating with God, spending time in His presence, and talking to Him and listening and waiting on Him to answer is essential. And the second P, I know you said one, but the second would be patience. My brother, you have to be patient. And I don't like patience because, there's a little saying that patience worketh tribulations. And if you want that gift, this is a gift. You want that fruit of the spirit. Sorry, you will have to go through tribulations. And what I realized with being patient is that even in the most confusing moments of your life, that you can depend on the Lord to be there and show up. I live with this principle, which is the scripture. They that wait upon the Lord, come on now, shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Those two things, two words, patience and prayer, is really what's get me going on who I am right now and the fundamentals of who I am right now. And I promise you, if you practice those two and you include them in your daily lives, the best is yet to come. I usually say my next testimony is going to be God did it.
Amen, brother. Amen. And what I love about the P's you push is that both of them are in my book. So I think we have common grounds when it comes to both of those P's. And Honorable, I just want to thank you. But we're not done yet. I still have a few more questions before we wrap up the show.
Okay.
Now, the experts or political enthusiasts, everyone is calling this one of the most critical elections in the Turks and Caicos history, simply because the next party who wins this, they're going to govern us for 5 years. And we've never had that in our period.
Yes.
A lot of youth, they don't take politics that serious, I would say. And I would say, I won't say it's a large percentage, but I would say probably 20-30% of them might be on the fence about voting in the up-and-coming elections. Given that this is such a critical election, what message do you have to young people who are on the fence when it comes to voting?
The message that I would have, I would use this opportunity to speak to our youth and to remind them that voting is your voice. You can have concerns, you can have situations, you can have problems in your life, but when it comes to how this country is governed and how you live in terms of your best life that you're hoping to live, policy shapes that. Decisions by policymakers shape that. So you have to, number one, listen to what is being presented before you. You have to go out and vote. And you're not only voting for me, you're not voting for the People's Democratic Movement, which you should vote for. But you are voting for your future. You're voting for yourself and your interests. You're voting for housing solutions, traffic solutions. Because I saw some videos a couple of minutes ago of the traffic from Blue Hills. You're talking about solutions. People who are driven by solutions and who are serious about representing the concerns of the young people, because there are many. I'm tired of hearing there is nothing to do in Turks and Caicos for the youth. I'm tired of hearing the rent is high. I'm tired of hearing how hard it is for you to be a homeowner. I'm tired of hearing being marginalized through the educational arena. I'm tired of hearing lack of sporting activities and opportunities for you to grow and thrive. And it is not only for the young professionals, but we're talking about the youth between the ages of 18 and 25, the youth between the ages of 26 and 30, 39, 40, like myself. You know, the concerns are real, the concerns are serious. You know, every day we find single parents, you're seeing young professionals. It's hard for them to even think about being a homeowner. You understand? It's hard to have access to land. It's hard to get access to capital. You know, if you don't find someone to invest in you, maybe it is hard because the opportunities are limited. But under a PDM government, under a government that cares not only about general scope of Turks and Caicos and its economy, but specifically our youth, and our agenda is driven by the interests of our youth in particular, it is imperative that you go out and vote. You know, vote for your future, vote for your now. It is critical. And it is critical. It is 5 years. It shouldn't be no excuse why we shouldn't accomplish a lot of things that need to be fixed in this country so that our people should thrive. I don't see a reason. Hopefully there's no other pandemic, but that shouldn't stop us. Hurricanes, we know how to bounce back after hurricanes and pandemics. So we have 5 years to make things happen. And you know what is critical for me, Mr. Lightburn, is that if it is that you know that something is causing you to stop or stopping you from progressing as a policy maker, you need to communicate that with your stakeholders. Who are the voters, the country? Let them know what is happening. We are representatives of the people. So I believe wholeheartedly, young people, this is your time. This is your time to marvel in the success that everyone else enjoys when they come to Turks and Caicos. And we are not excluding our youth. You are included and you are priority because your future is our priority. So go out and vote. It is critical. Fine. And if you're not registered, start registering from now. So the next 5 years, you get on this spectrum of voting because you have to make your voice heard. And listen, you have to hold politicians and leaders accountable. I want you to hold me accountable. If I say I'm going to do something, I am driven by what I say I'm going to do. If you tell me that you need this and I can get it to you the correct way and not by favoritism, but giving you the opportunity to thrive, nothing should stop our people from thriving in this country. I have a little slogan. It's time to thrive in 25. Why
I like that. I haven't heard that one. I must
yeah,
say,
so,
I'm gonna use that. It's time to thrive.
yeah,
No, I didn't. I've not. I haven't heard that. So I'll definitely take it up one from you, Honorable. A few more questions before about three more questions
take
before
your
you
time.
leave. Um, this one here would be based on your desired ministry. You know, I don't know which ministry you want to hold, but if you are elected, which ministry do you desire to be the minister of, and what would be one of your major plans for that ministry as an elected member?
Whew. I'm not even sure I'm at liberty to even share my opinion on this.
Okay.
But
Well,
hypothetically speaking, this is not infused by my party or anything. It's just my personal opinion.
and that's a disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, in Canada, they usually align their ministries or their politicians with their skills and abilities. My background is in education. I've served 14 years in the education sector. I've went through the primary level, secondary level, tertiary level, and as an administrator. So my background solely is in education, while social programs and other areas I know that I can thrive in. I believe that if we are selecting persons, I believe that if we're selecting persons to represent us in any era, in the ministerial era, we must ensure that we align the skills that are presented before us with Bible ministry. So me, I will take education. hands down. And the first thing I want to do as your incoming Minister of Education, this hypothetically speaking, um, there are so much concerns when it comes to education sector. Number one, special needs. Every child has a right to learn. Every child has a right to grow. And every child has a right to access every element of our education sector. We have this thing that no child left behind, but we are leaving our children behind. We're leaving them in so many different areas. We don't even have financial literacy taught in our curriculum as yet, and that's an issue. You have junior achievement, and I must big up junior achievement department that deals with financial literacy and teaching youth and school young people how to run businesses. Excellent program, but it must be embedded into our curriculum. Special needs every day, every week, every second. A teacher is recognizing that there is a delay with a child, with a student. Yet we are struggling to make sure that they progress through the regular streams of education. When there is no other options, testing is limited. You have to gamble as to who you're going to test because there's so many students to test. I believe that if we're spending money on so many other frivolous things, we can invest in education. An educated nation. You can imagine if our workforce and our workforce are not only qualified with academia but skill based. That our construction workers are skilled certified. Our students are accessing various educational arenas with special needs and coming out with their little certificates and their degrees. Nothing should stop our people from thriving in this area. So, of course, special needs is my first area. I believe that we should have special needs centers in Grand Trunk and Providenciales to assist with South Caicos and North Caicos and Middle Caicos. It's essential. It's not going to cost us a lot of money. We just spend how much money on stimulus, and that's fine. And everybody happy about that. But let's ensure that we are investing. We are making long-term investments for the success of our people. Nobody should be able to say that they're going to leave Turks and Caicos to access better education. We have a community college up here. Community college should be able to offer up to bachelor level. Yes, in business administration. But it's time to move our college to a level where it's not only a college but a university. The Bahamas did it, and we can do it too. There's nothing stopping us, and we have great success stories coming up the community college where students have successfully completed and they have been making a great impact in our communities. So we need to think beyond where we're at right now and move and push forward. Technical vocational education is important. It is critical. Our industries requires our people to be skilled based and trained. Tourism, construction. There is money. Money is out there to make. Leonardo, money. I have this thing that I say at my restaurant. Chicken gotta fry, money gotta make. It is what it is. Masonry, electricians. We need to start training our people. If you look at it, the Haitians and the Dominicans and the Filipinos and everyone else is coming in with their certifications and they're taking up and they're charging a lot of money because they're making money because there's a demand. While our young man sitting down chilling sometimes because opportunities are not presented to them. We need to not only tell them about it, but show them how they can make and how their lives can be changed and altered by just simply being certified. I am a technical vocational educator, and I believe wholeheartedly that we need to push further than what we are in technical vocational education. And then lastly, of course, we need to ensure that we examine our curriculums. I believe wholeheartedly that at this stage we should be able to determine what is our literacy rate in this country. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I haven't heard about that in ages. If you ask that question, maybe no one can answer you. We are doing a lot of testing. So every time someone jumps up with an idea that comes and they see it from away, they bring it into our system. I believe that we have educators that can create and develop our own curriculums. I believe that we can create our own national examinations. We don't have to be paying CXC $10 and $25 or whatever the amount is for CPEA to transition into the high school level. It's nonsense. When other countries are rejecting CPEA, we are taking it on, and it is causing a strain on parents and students. And I believe that we have the capacity and capabilities. We have various units that can assist and people that can assist in developing our national testing centers. The education sector need to grow. It's too small. For where we should be and where we ought to be and where we are taking this country, we need to expand our education department. We need quality assurance officers. We need more officers in the curriculum department. We need more education officers. It is essential. So for me, not only all of that groundwork in the background, but I want every student to have a holistic experience in the classroom. The classroom environment should be fun. Learning must be fun. Education must be fun. They should be happy to go to school, happy to share their ideas, happy to learn new information. We want to challenge our teachers to continue to upgrade themselves and continue their passion in education and transferring that passion into our students so that they can learn and be passionate about. So education, I can talk about education all day because
I can see that. You passionate, man. You on
that's
fire.
my passion. I want to know that at the end of the day, a child that walks through a school has maximized on every opportunity and potentially has to be successful, and not only saying that, oh, Mr. Butterfield, all this ultra wide learning science school, it ain't make no sense. I ain't seen it no more. You understand? We want to give them real life experiences in the classroom. To teach is to touch lives forever. And we want to impart love into our education sector. That not only our primary school children will learn, not only our secondary will be successful, but not even our tertiary, but we want the young men of the street to have an opportunity to be certified and receive and be proud of themselves. And not only that, we want to invest in our young people. We want them to be business owners, help them. Set aside, invest TCI, set aside a particular policy that will speak only to young entrepreneurship. You want to start a business, this is your area, this is how you're going to get access to money instead of competing nationally with the entire Turks and Caicos market. We want to invest in our youth from the cradle to the what? Grave. I think that's what it would say, right?
Indeed. Honorable. There's no other question I can ask after that because you lit it. You lit it. The passion, I can see that's your passion, and no pressure on your leader, but definitely. Honorable, you wouldn't be a guest on Pushing Your Peace podcast if I didn't ask you a spin-off question. Are you ready for your spin-off question?
I am ready.
Now, we are living in the generation of social media. That means from time to time you see some pretty wild challenges. What has been one of the weirdest things you've seen persons do as a TikTok or social media challenge?
Oh, I'm probably the wrongest person to ask that question. Ah, I'm not on TikTok, I must say.
Or any social media challenge. It could be any social media challenge.
Let me see. The weirdest thing that I've seen.
We don't have. It could be anything.
Oh man. I have to think. I have to really think about that. I am.
It can even be a meme.
You're trying to. You're. I don't know why this question is making me feel like I'm old. Because I'm really struggling to find. I really scroll through social media. Now and again I'll go on Snapchat and I'll watch some, you know, wild out videos or Yes, the past is watching wild videos. Oh, no, Josh. I can't think of anything on hand right now. Currently, I think I'm gonna regret this question.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
but I can't really think of. Um, I did see a couple of months ago where this person had an option. Parents had an option, gave an option on whether or not they want 5 round trip tickets to any country of their choice or a car, an updated car.
Mm.
I had a problem with that. I'm an average traveler. I want no car. What? Five round trip tickets? You know what is 5 round trip tickets?
Man, yo.
Huh? You know where I go in five with five? Do you know? I just went into my Turks Island vernacular. Do you know? Do you know where I would go with five round trip tickets right now? Ah man, forgot if
Whoa.
I drive in a little Swift, leave me in my Swift. I'll work with it later. Give me that. Can I have those 5 tickets, please? I thought that was weird, but the person decided to upgrade their car.
Oh wow. And that's a and I threw that question out here because we are living in a social media
Yes.
world, and I had to pull something out of you. You know what I mean? But Honorable, you've been fantastic throughout this episode, and I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your ideas. And I also want to wish you the best
Thank
in the upcoming election. Um, any final words before we close out?
My final words would be really, it is expected for me to say vote PDM and vote PDM straight down the line, which is good. And I believe that our party platform and our party vision for this country will indeed propel our people into the successful life that they deserve to live, because Turks and Caicos Islands will be first. We have already made the mistake on the last administration, under the PDM administration, and we are hearing the concerns of the people, and I'm not afraid to acknowledge that, because that is what cost us to lose the last election. But what I want our people to do to really examine what is being thrown at you, and you will be able to determine if it aligns with your goals and your aspirations, and if it aligns with the future of this country, and if it aligns with individuals who have your interests at heart. I bid you that once you have done that research, those roads will lead to the People's Democratic Movement. And I can guarantee you that we will not disappoint you. We will not disappoint this country. Why? Because we understand the critical times that we are in. We understand how our people have been disenfranchised. We understand the concerns that are so many, and the pains of single parents and hurting mothers and fathers. We understand the growing pains that we have to go through, but we need leaders who, number one, care and who have a heart of service. And so I ask you to not only vote for my team, but make sure you vote for Temard Butterfield as your at-large candidate and the entire PDM team. So, Mr. Lightburn, I enjoy your podcast. I enjoy the trip to East Caicos. I must say that. I tell you this much though. I've only reached to the hot dogs and the egg, the most driving and watching. So tonight, before I go to sleep, I'm going to finish it because you're on to something. You're on to something. You're on to something. And hopefully, you'll do a discovery of how many keys and islands that we have in the Turks and Caicos, because I still believe we don't have 40 islands and keys. I feel like it's more. So, so maybe you can take a trip around Turks and Caicos and let me know.
I would welcome that, Honorable. Trust me. I mean, that whole experience has been life changing, and yeah, I appreciate your support. And Honorable, thank you so much once again for coming on.
Thank you very
This
much.
has been a fantastic episode, and again, I wish you the best, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Temard Butterfield, pastor, a lover of his people, an at-large candidate in the next in the up and coming election. I'll see you next week on Pushing Your Peace Podcast.